Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to the Round 11 preview. Sunday, 26th of May, 3:20 p.m. at the home of football, the MCG, against Melbourne, against the Melbourne Football Club. It's a massive game. Both teams coming off very, very shitty losses to the Western Australian clubs. Melbourne, shock loss to West Coast, the Harley Reid show. And for us, a really, really average game against Fremantle. Again, another game where we struggle to kick goals and it's just not easy on the eye to watch. It's almost I'm putting a call out. Bring Saints footy back. We need to bring Saints footy back. Make St Kilda great again. Please, boys. We need you to deliver on Sunday. It's a massive game. We're 3-7. The season's pretty much over. A lot of people do tell me. I don't really care about that anymore. I just want to see some fun, competitive, exciting football at the home of football. We're not going to the MCG to play a shit game, to play a low-scoring, boring, festive game. I want to see some enthusiasm. I don't care if we get done. I just want to see us enjoying ourselves. The fans in the stands and the players on the ground, most importantly. There's going to be a lot of changes. We've got some strong performances in the VFL, no doubt we're going to look at to come into play. We have essentially no one on the injury list. Full bill of health across the board for Ross Lyon to select. There is absolutely no excuse not to turn up and give 150% for 4 quarters. Having said that, our season, not great, 3-7. We struggled to score. But the last time we played at the MCG was against Collingwood in round 2, and it was our best win, best performance of the year, pretty much. Pretty much since then, we've been average. Let's face it, we've been shit since round 2. Not good enough, well off the pace of the top 8 teams, and deserving of the position we find ourselves in right now. But Melbourne, they're missing Jake Lever. That is huge for us. Obviously, when we think of Melbourne, we think of Christian Petrarca, we think of Max Gawn, and Clayton Oliver, and obviously Stephen May and Jake Lever. Lever's gone. That opens up the back line for them. West Coast got them through the midfield big time in the game on Sunday. I watched it in full. I was very impressed with the way West Coast went about it. What annoys me, though, is West Coast have essentially given the blueprint on how to beat Melbourne. Play fast, aggressive football through the midfield, take them on, because they're contested beasts, Melbourne, but they're not the quickest team going around. They're honest, they run hard, they're fit, but they're not quick. So if you can up the ante in terms of leg speed, you can get them once they turn the ball over. And with no Jake Lever, hopefully that means they're not going to have that many intercept marks to flick the switch and go the other way, because Stephen May, hopefully, will have his hands full with Max King. So they've given the blueprint, but the annoying thing is I feel like we're going to look at that and just not even entertain it. I want us to entertain that. I want us to get the leg speed going, because if West Coast can do it, bloody hell, we can do it. We've got some serious leg speed on the park. We're going to get some players back that are senior players that are really important to the way we go about it, and players that were important to us last year in our run to the elimination final. We need to be going into this with an aggressive mindset, not a defensive one. Opening bounce last week, Ben Pattons marking Jordan Clark. Ridiculous. So I want us to be aggressive. We may tag Petrarca, maybe Windy goes to Petrarca. Rowan Marshall, obviously head-to-head with Gawn, is always a good viewing as a fan. And then in the back line, we've got Cal Wilkie, Dougal Howard, Josh Battle, Jimmy Webster. Obviously, Jimmy Webster, I think, will take Pickett. I think Van Rooyen's coming in, so Dukes will take him. Wilkie to then take Bailey Fritsch. And then Battle potentially could take Petrarca if he's resting there. Petty, I think, if he's playing. I've heard Ben Brown's going to be dropped, or at least should be dropped. Jack Billings as well, they think might be on the chopping block, so unlikely to play. But could be interesting if he's playing against his old club. But obviously it's the midfield battle. Petrarca, Oliver, Viney. Absolutely huge. But if we get players back like Brad Crouch, which I think we might, Hunter Clark, Paddy Dow rotates through there with Jack Steele, with Whithager through there, Jack Sinclair through there. That's 6 players there that could rotate through. With Rowan Marshall, that's as strong a midfield as we've had pretty much in the last 2 years, I would say. for a long time, really. Not to mention Machida Owens could go through there. You've got Jack Hayes, who's fully fit. There's a lot of players that are putting their hands up. Jack Higgins is back, speaking of Jacks, and Dan Butler is fully fit. So we're gonna have some small representation. This probably means that players like Collard, Filippo out. I think Zach Jones probably out, and Cooper Sharman again was disappointing on the weekend. So we're probably going to see off the back of 6 changes last week. We're probably going to see another 5 or 6 this week, to be honest. But I think it's 5 or 6 that are warranted, and we're going to get some senior players back that are going to make us stronger. So we are heavy underdogs. But I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we find ourselves in this game at 3/4 time, in with a sniff to win the game. Because we play the MCG well, it's vast. I think we can play that run and spread game that we just can't at Marvel. And we're going to have the strongest team possible on the park for St Kilda. So no excuses there. They are a very good team, Melbourne, obviously. Very good team. Finals pretty much consistently the last 5 years. They won the flag in 2021. They've been pretty close since. But they were torn to shreds against West Coast. West Coast were very, very good. And without Lever, you look at the way West Coast exploited the backline. May had his hands full. Waterman bobs up. They rested Harley Reid there. They've got some, Darling down there. They had some Twin Towers to worry about, but some good ground ball players as well. It's time that we see the best of Max King. I know we put a lot of pressure on him every week, but I think him with May, I think it's a battle, and I think one that could really decide the game, especially with Lever out. And with our smalls back, that finally means that when the ball hits the deck, we're going to have some pressure on the football, and it's not going to be an easy out. The last couple of weeks, we've had no Jack Higgins, no Dan Butler. It's essentially been Collard as a lone hand, Liam Henry as well, trying to go through there, recovering from injury. We've just not had any representation at the ground ball, and hopefully now that means we do, and we're as dangerous on the fall of the ball as we are in the air. Tim Membry, Seb Ross, I haven't mentioned, but they were managed last week. They could well come into play this week. So it's going to be an interesting game. It's I'm annoyed that, I've said it all week, but I'm annoyed that Melbourne played the way they played on Sunday because it gives us Saints fans hope. And I hate that because we played poorly on Saturday night and then you kind of expect a routine win from Melbourne. They don't win, they get smashed. They get smashed. And you look at that and go, geez, if Melbourne play like that against us and we bring any form of our Saints footy from 2023, we're in with a massive chance of winning this game. So it wouldn't be a huge shock if we do get up. I just want to see us play well. I don't care if we win, to be honest. I just want to see us play well and bring the application that we all loved watching last year, the high pressure. I want to see us run. I want to just sit there and go, we are trying to win this game. I can't tell you the last time I could say that, to be honest, and I know that might sound a little bit harsh, but I couldn't say last week against Fremantle in the last quarter that we tried at any point to win that game. Fremantle tried to win that game at all costs for 4 quarters. They just were inaccurate. It could have been a blowout, but we were just hanging on for dear life, and I don't want to be hanging on in games. I want to be trying to win them, especially if it's close and there's a chance. I want us to be throwing the kitchen sink at it to get the 4 points. It may not mean much in the scheme of the season, whether we make finals or not, because we are well back behind the 8 ball, but just for respect and for, that hope of what could be after the bye with a lot of Marvel games, even if we don't make finals, just to put on a bit of a run would be nice. It starts on Sunday against Melbourne. I'll leave it there, Sainers. Put your thoughts in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling about this game, your ins and outs, because there's a lot of options for Ross Lyon and the coaching staff to select from. And I'll see you after the game for my review. But yeah, I'll leave it there, Sainers. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.